So I'm on my lunch break right now, and I was listening to a podcast. I just had this really incredible thought. Um, really, it was a revelation I had probably like 6-ish years ago now. And it relates to the concept of prayer, manifestation, blessings, gifts, however you want to look at it, whatever you want to call it. It's all really the same thing, just most people don't know how to communicate about it. So when you have something that you want, so often people use the word have patience, have patience, have patience, have patience. And it's true, first of all, it's really important. It's true that we need patience. But the most incredible thing about patience is that it's not a passive behavior. So what patience really is understanding that there's an agreement between what you want and a fundamental understanding, and this is essentially what faith is. If you say the word faith, and when people try to understand what faith means, it actually means that you understand the world is connected to you, one, and two, that it wants to succeed in giving you the experience that you desire. And so that comes in a myriad ways, comes in so many different forms, because oftentimes we're asking for things or focusing on things, and we don't recognize that the world around us is extremely sensitive to the way that we operate. It's also observant of how we behave. And it can only respond to things that are acted upon. And now technically a thought is an action, but it has weight. There's a difference between me thinking of ripping these off of the wall versus me actually going and doing it. But they both are actions. They both create a moment where something that is different from the present. Okay? So this is all foundational. Understand that you are directly connected to the rest of the universe and your surroundings, both externally and internally, way down in there in your heart, in your head. You're connected internally and externally. That's faith. Understanding that where you push, understand this too, with a mustard seed, this is how Jesus put it, a mustard seed of faith, if you go up to a mountain and tell it to move, it will. Now, he's saying not only have a mustard seed in terms of the size, but in the capacity of the mustard seed. Now, he goes on to say, that it grows a tree where many birds can come and flock and rest and make their homes. Something substantial. He's trying to say something permanent, and that is something where others can come and lay to rest. Essentially, is when you'll know that you have the correct faith. So, moving on to patience, right? Patience is not a passive thing. Too many people are actually practicing impatience, and it's something that I do all the time, which is why I have to remind myself, and why this is a revelation for me again, is that patience isn't a passive activity. Patience is diligent. Patience is persistent. Patience says, hey, I know if I act in the right way for all of these things to occur, that all that needs to happen to receive what I'm seeking is time. And the incredible thing about time, which maybe this will make sense for some people, maybe it won't, but time doesn't really exist. It's more of a perception of change. And so if you can increase your ability to perceive change, you're actually increasing your time. Um, and it's pretty incredible when you get to learn how to do this, because when you increase your awareness, you update more regularly what changes have occurred. And when you recognize what changes have occurred, you notice that that essentially creates the perception of time. So doing so will help you recognize on a smaller scale when you're doing the right things, right? And then you can kind of learn what good action is and like what faith really is by taking those smaller steps. But you have to expand your awareness. You have to upgrade your observation, right? It's going to be communicated to you both externally and internally, right? So, main point being that a lot of the time when people are being patient, they're just kind of waiting and they're just sitting on nothing. Or that's the concept, right? Like the concept is, oh, I just, like, I have to want it bad enough. And then just wait. It's like, no, you have to want it bad enough that you feel compelled to do the things that will bring it to you. That's what it is. And that's patience. Patience is understanding that in order to achieve the destination, you have to actually walk along the journey. And that along the journey, if you want to get to where you're going, you have to stay the path. And in that way, a lot of the time, people will say that they're exercising patience by stopping on the path and saying, well, I'm just being patient. It's like, no, you're being stagnant. And it's incredibly important that although there are many things that will occur and go by on the way, as you're walking down the path on either side of you, left or right, there's going to be better things, there's going to be worse things that look better, there's going to be all kinds of stuff to catch your eye, distract your attention, and pull you away from where you're going. The important thing to understand is that our mind keeps track of all this stuff, right? It's constantly feeding. And it's holding all this information for us. Again, you have to understand, faith is the profound concept and deep-rooted understanding that the world wants to give you what you want. It wants to give you what you want. You have to realize it. You have to understand it. You have to open your eyes enough for it to reveal to you how it's doing what you ask. So, and then it's up to you to enact your own free will to move in accordance with those things. Otherwise, if the momentum behind your action is only a thought, the result produced externally will be as noticeable as a thought. So how many thoughts do we have in a day? I think there's some research that says we have something on the scale of like 20,000 thoughts a day. So just understand thermodynamics. Every action has an equal opposite reaction. If you only think about it, it will only appear to you in the magnitude of thought. If you act on it, it might appear to you in the magnitude of an act. If you wholeheartedly commit and live for it, it will live for you. It will become alive for you because you are doing the same, right? It's not complicated, but it's very hard to discern. Oftentimes because we're so wrapped up here. And then we get so like kind of tense around the things that happen out here, which really comes from in here. Like, that's literally how it works. This whole reality, mechanism, things that you're living in, the body that you live in and the world surrounding you is all connected through one. I can breathe it in, I can breathe it out. It comes into me, I breathe it back out into the world. Like there's an exchange. So understanding that. And understand at its root, patience is not passive. Patience is an understanding that when you know where to go and you know how to go there, you will get there. All it takes is time. That's patience, right? It's much more complicated than people, it's much more, I wouldn't say it's complicated, but it's not explained or ever elaborated upon what it means to truly be patient. And I think that's a huge, huge, crucial thing to understand, because the longer you wait, the more you associate patience with waiting, the less you understand patience and the less you can attribute value to your patience. And so some people really get this and they get a lot of what they want. Some people really don't. And then they never see what they want because they're waiting. And if you wait on the world's going to wait on you. That's how it goes. If you wait on the world, it's going to wait on you. Right? So, that's all I had to say today. That was a pretty awesome revelation to understand. It's so powerful when you know how to use it. And all of those little things along the way, the power of a thought will be revealed to you externally with the same weight as a thought. And if your thoughts are very heavy, then the things represented to you outside are going to be feeling very heavy. If your thoughts are very light, the things around you are going to be very light, and so on and so forth. There's there's a lot more to this in terms of where you are on the spectrum of perception, whether you're emotionally based, rationally based, and truthfully, people think that the two are separate or that they're distinguishable truly. In reality, rationality is a form of emotion. So everything's emotion, because emotion simply means the expression within. And that's everything for life. All of life is a projection of what's within out into the world across. And being able to reflect on that and what the world is looking to put back into you is what you've put out into the world. Super, super wild, crazy to try to conceptualize that on a bigger scale, because when you go bigger, what it requires is that you have more accountability and responsibility over the formation of thought, the magnitude of your decision capacity and your discernment, your ability to make a way through the world. And a lot of the time, people are functioning in that capacity and they might not even know how to verbalize it because they just feel it. It's just in there. But I'm here to help and discern and describe to you what it is, how to acquire it, and how it moves. And it's huge, it's crazy. Words fail to fully describe the beauty of it, but it's something incredibly valuable, and I hope you come to know it in the same way that I do. For now, work on understanding active patience and keep chipping away.